TV, welcome back to the channel, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in for this second part of the podcast studio build. If you guys haven't seen the first video, check out the description box below. We'll drop a link in there so you guys can catch up. A lot of cool things showing how we got this building to be and completed such as it is now. We want you guys to check out this video because you guys will be able to see everything from tape, texture, flooring, internet, all that good stuff that we put to get this studio to the level it's at now. And at the end of the video, you guys will get to see a quick glimpse of what it looks like finished. After that, you guys will have to tune into the podcast coming soon, The Bigger Perspective, so keep your eye out for that. It'll be on the playlist on Review It TV, as well as having its own channel. I just want to thank all my subscribers and everyone for being patient. I know I have a lot of viewers that like some of those off-road videos dealing with the UTV and off-road equipment. We're still doing those. We've just been really busy. We had to put a lot of heart and dedication into getting this studio set up. So with that being said, check it out. Enjoy the video. We'll see you guys soon. Internet day, guys. I got CenturyLink here. Getting the building set up with internet, which is nice. Like I mentioned, it'll have its own separate modem. Okay, so a little bit of progress inside of the building. As you can see, we're getting the new modem put in. Looks like a humidifier, but yeah. This is one of the premium modems, so they function pretty fast. I have one in the house. Yeah, I really do like it. Keeps everything on point without interfering or buffering on any of my devices. So got a couple outlets put in just because the electricity is looping from one outlet to the next, obviously from there. So had to get a couple outlets in to get the power source to right here so we can at least plug this in and get it all set up correctly. So when we do actually start logging in with our devices, it'll be right to the point. Alright guys, so let's check out the materials I'm going to use. And some of these are just some common things that you might have laying around the house. Some of them, kind of like this aluminum grate, may not be. So I have this 7-foot by 2-foot aluminum grate, and I want to use that as kind of like the standing platform of the deck step. And the reason I like it is because the aluminum won't rust, and if it's raining, snowing, and you're putting your foot onto the grate, materials, dirt, mud, stuff will fall through to the ground. The other thing I decided to use is I'm going to use this bed frame. This is a tempered steel bed frame. It has some angle iron in it, which I'm going to cut up and use to hold the grate onto the wood frame that I'm going to build out of this treated lumber. So remember guys, I'm using ACQ treated, pressure treated lumber, so that way it'll handle the weather outside and it won't bow or rot immediately. It'll last some years. So I'm going to build a frame out of that, and then we'll use the tempered steel angle iron from the bed frame, which will drill into the side of the wood frame, and then we'll go ahead and set that rack right into the center of that, and that's going to actually be our little step. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay guys, so I think the first step I'm going to do is I'm going to take this old bed frame that I showed you guys, and I'm going to cut out pieces of it so I can use it as kind of like an angle iron rack to hold that aluminum grate into the wood frame that I'm going to build. So I think what I'll do is I'll just cut out a piece here and there, and then we can get rid of these side pieces for the wheels. And yeah, I'll be able to use that. Alright, here we go. So yeah, we're going to cut out pieces like this, and these are the pieces we're going to use. And we're going to stick them right onto the edge of the metal, and then we're going to bolt them in to our 2x4s just like that. And then when I get that aluminum rack, it'll sit right on top of this edge. That'll hold it in place nicely, give it a kind of support so when someone's standing on the step, it doesn't break off and fall down. Okay, now that I've cut the angle iron, I want to kind of give you guys a preview of where we're going with this. So as you can see, we just stuck angle iron pieces. We cut some for the sides. There's a piece there, and there's a longer piece that comes down right there. And then there's also 2 pieces on either side. I'm going to screw those pieces of angle iron into the sides of the framing, which is the wood, as you can see. And then I'll be able to drop that rack into that angle iron screwed into the frame, and that'll hold the angle iron, that'll hold the rack off the ground. And it'll be about 7 feet long. Of course, there's going to be some end pieces of wood there, and it'll be cut to fit. But yeah, so that's what we're doing with it. There's the angle iron. I kind of just laid it on the ground so you guys can get a gist of it. I'm gonna go ahead and just cut my wood. No need to show you guys that because everyone's gonna have their own separate sizes and projects. Once we do that, we'll get the frame put together with the angle iron, and then we should be able to just drop the rock right in, and that'll complete this little deck step for the podcast building. All right, guys, so there it is. All completed, everything put together. Framed it out, used the old bed frame, as you can see. Took some ACQ treated lumber. I just went ahead and cut it up to fit the size of this aluminum grate. And now, when we're on it, it holds us just fine. And if you need to scrape your feet because of mud or snow or whatever the case may be for the weather at the time, or just dirt in general, it'll fall through. It'll kind of help keep some of the stuff out of the studio. So yeah, we'll get it in front of the building and let you guys take a quick look, see what you think. Okay guys, so there it is. That's what it looks like. I know my little fence is kind of in the way of the view, but yeah, so that's what it looks like in front of the door. Gives you a little bit more of height. And then the step with the cross supports that I put on the bottom keep it off the ground a little bit. ACQ pressure treated, which will help with the water. Looks nice. So yeah, from there we're gonna go ahead and jump into doing some insulation and then sheetrock tape and texture. There it is, guys. The next task at hand. As you can see, we got some insulation going on here. That is gonna be the next hideous task. It's not too bad, I guess. It's pretty easy lifting. Went and picked up a load of the insulation we'll need here. Yeah, we got some R30 and some, looks like R13. This is just your standard 2x4 wall insulation. The R30 is designed for attics, however the trusses or the braces on the roof of this studio, they're a lot wider than the standard 2x4 truss area of the walls. I think they're like 22 inches, so we got some 24-inch insulation there to work with on the roof, and then of course the smaller rolls for the walls. Picked up a few things you might consider when you're doing a project such as so: staple gun, nice blade, staples, tape measure, of course, something to drink, and here we got some gloves and mask. You can see that fiberglass will be all over the place, so I would suggest getting a reasonable mask. We all know those are readily available, so you'll be able to find those pretty easy. Silicone and some great stuff to go ahead and get into the wall crevices before I put the insulation, keep air and bugs and different things from getting in and out once the walls are up. So yeah, we'll go ahead and take a look at the inside of the studio once again before we get started. We'll show you some clips and get this task finished. One thing to consider is staples. Yeah, staple gun for sure. You know, I'm using the 3/8 staples. They're a little bit longer. Just want to make sure they get a good grip. I mean, I know it's only insulation. I'm probably not going to use a whole lot of them, but yeah, that's one thing you want to consider is the staple gun. One of the tools, and then a blade set such as the one I just showed you guys. This is it. Comes with an extra pack of blades, but you're able to extend the blade out really far to be able to get a better cut on that insulation as opposed to using these smaller blades, box cutters. So yeah, these are good for opening packages, but they're not the greatest for cutting insulation, so I'd recommend getting one of those other ones. Okay, so you want to be a little careful when you're opening this. You don't want to slice your insulation in half trying to open it. So comes in a roll. It looks real thin, guys, when you're looking at it, till it unfluffs out. I'm just going to roll it out like so. We're going to go ahead and start with this first run right here. There's an outlet, and then we'll go all the way up there, and then we'll work our way around all the way over to this side. So we're not going to show you guys everything, just show you a little bit of it. Like I said, this video is not really specifically a video or a tutorial on how to do each step. It's just kind of showing you guys what we're doing to put the studio together, and basically just giving you guys a small clip so you can kind of grasp it and then use that for ideas for your own studio if you guys plan on doing something similar like this. Alright, so 88 inches is where we're at on the height from the bottom of our studs to the top up there, and that's the amount, or I should say that's the length of what we're going to be using for most of all of these pieces of insulation that we're going to be putting in. Mine is cutting a little slit across it for the Romex cable for the outlets, and then cutting out little outlet slots. I already have this one, so you just kind of want to watch your finger there. Might be easier to turn it upside down. I just didn't want to get the insulation too filthy right off the bat, so be careful you don't get it all up in your sleeves. Try to keep it from getting under your sleeves because that's where it's going to itch the most. Alright guys, so went ahead and knocked out the insulation today. Was a loan shark, so I had to pull it off myself. Not a big deal. It just takes time. A little bit of a tedious job, but just making little cuts and stuff around the outlets was the biggest thing. So I went ahead and got the walls done today. I'm going to jump on the roof tomorrow, but let's take a quick look at the wall and see what it looks like. Alright, you can see everything's done, including around the windows. Sorry about that, the lighting wants to go a little bit garbagey when I'm trying to look at that particular view where the light's coming in the door, but yeah. Everything's put in, all the outlets are cut out, breaker box, got everything stapled. So, only thing we're gonna do next is the roof. Roof won't take too long. I got some 22-inch wide rolls of insulation, so we'll go ahead and jump on that next. Alright everyone, got the roof insulation done finally. We showed you guys the walls last time. Got the roof, and then of course the next step, got a world-renowned sheetrocker in here, aka everything else you need done. Andrew got it from the trusty correctional department program. No, not really.
He's a work release program right now?
Work release, so we're going to try to help him get paroled early. No. Well, yeah, so that's all Jack.
That's what neighbors are for.
Oh, helping hand. So yeah, we're starting the sheetrock. You guys can see roof is always first, and then we'll hit the walls next. So we're just giving you guys a quick clip, and we'll come back to you guys here in a bit. Okay, so we're making a little bit of progress, working a little bit at a time here. So far we got the ceiling started on this first half. As you can see on the trusses, line it up clean, so when you tape and texture, everything will line up nicely. This side, however, is the next side we haven't finished. It'll be a little bit slower, not so much, but with outlets to cut out, it takes a little bit more time. So yeah, and then we went ahead and took up our first piece on the wall just to kind of see what it was going to look like up there on the seams. So that's that. Sorry about the lighting, guys, with the sun and glare. Just changes everything. And I'm not messing with the settings right now because I'm a little tied up. But yeah, as you can see, progress. Using up the internet. Got that installed first so we could use that. Of course, some outlets going just so we can plug some stuff in. But yeah, we'll get another shot here shortly. Alright folks, just an update. Got a lot of the sheetrock and we started doing the tape and texture. It's kind of a long process when this isn't something you normally do. Haven't finished the roof, got a little gap there they gotta line up, fix that. Otherwise, started the first coat of mud and tape, sand it down. And you can see both the walls here. But for the most part, the hard part's done. Now it's just mudding, tape, and texture, and might throw an orange peel on this in the long run is what we're thinking. But yeah, so we'll keep you updated. That's the progress. Now you can see, we showed you some previous clips of us getting the sheetrock installation. You can see we've gotten the sheetrock done if you take a look around everywhere. Everything's pretty well done. The roof's done. We're still gonna get the outlets and things like that in. Do a few other things. We've got air conditioning, flooring, studio equipment, decor, stuff like that that's coming up in the future here of this particular building studio. We're covering up some of these plates that they put here during the framing. Kind of makes them look tacky, so we're gonna get some pieces in there and staple those down in there and then get everything siliconed and edged real nicely and painted again, these trusses and stuff, and then get that flooring going, and then we'll keep you guys updated as we go. So yeah, that's it for this part. Alright guys, so next step in this studio is to get the outlets put in. We want to get the outlets and then the wall plates going here so we can get to the biggest step, which I think is one of the most important things, is climate control, which would be your air conditioning split unit is what we're going with on this particular studio, like I mentioned earlier in the video. So yeah, right now I'm going to work on the outlets. I'm also going to get my internet outlet put on, and then we'll do a couple of the light switches. As you can see, we already had a couple of outlets that we had put in over here, and that was just so we had power for the tools we were using to do the drywall and everything else. So basically we'll go ahead and work on these, and then we'll go to the next step. Okay, so you can see that we've gotten some of the wires hooked up here. You're just going to want to cut your wires off. If you have an electrician do this, I guess you won't have to worry about it. They'll do the outlets, but usually they make the hot and the neutral and the ground wires a little bit longer, so you can measure out about where you want them. Cut them down a little bit so that way they'll fit into your outlet without putting too much pressure on the back of the outlet, pushing it out or crimping the wires to where they come undone. Just kind of gently get them in there. You got two holes here. I would start your holes, and I'm not going to go through every outlet, guys. I'm just showing you basically more or less what we're doing here. But start your plug outlet screws with a screwdriver first, so you can make sure you're not going to strip them. Just get them running in there smooth. Get the bottom one too, and just get them started. And then you can come back with your drill and then finish them. So like that. Then you can take your drill and just put it on a lower setting, maybe 1. You don't want to go too fast, but now we'll just go a little bit at a time. Get one side in, come back down to the bottom, whatever.
seems like it works better for you. To me, I just like to do a little bit at a time. Oh well. Once you feel it tightening up, kind of let off the trigger. Don't sit there and torque it. Just kind of get it in there easy. When you feel it tightening, just go till it does that. There it is. Now your outlet's in there. Then what you can do next is you can just take your plate covers, which is so on, comes with just a little screw in there to put into the center, which will go into the center of the outlet. Now, depending on whether or not you guys cut around the outlets too much, you might have to put some caulking in here, seal it up, do whatever you got to do after you put the plate on to get rid of any gaps that you may have. I may have to do that on one of mine, but not a big deal. There's always a way to kind of patch it up. So you can see what I'm talking about is like right here. So what I'll do is I'll put a little bit of silicone on there and smooth it out, let it dry, and then I can actually take this back off and without hopefully damaging the silicone, just edge that with the paint, put this back on, and it'll cover all that. You won't be able to see that anymore. These little screws take a flathead. So keep a mixture of tools, guys, with you when you're doing this. Flatheads, wire strippers, wire cutters, all that stuff. Let's put that on there like so. Like I said. Now hopefully you can run into a problem like this too, guys, where the outlet is not out far enough. So hopefully the screw will fit all the way to the hole. And if it doesn't, you're gonna probably have to just find a longer screw, guys. This happens sometimes. Sometimes not everything looks as nice as you'd want it, but I wouldn't go too hard on that. When you're putting your outlet cover on, just kind of tighten that till you hear it barely start to crinkle and then stop, because if you go too much, you'll crack this. But to me, these little touch-ups around here, and this is just the reality of it, guys. Sometimes these little tiny things happen, so don't be discouraged. But as you can see, we'll clean that up. We'll do our little touch-up paints once all the outlets are on, and then we'll come back and check it out. All right, guys, cool. So coming to a breaking point today, went ahead and got the outlets all touched up, edged out. The way they look clean. There's no little gaps in the sides or behind them. Light switches in. Went ahead and got all the siliconing done today. Wanted to get that all touched up, even in the corners of the wall. As you can see, did some siliconing on either side. Wanted to make sure that those creases up there have a fresh edge. And of course, when I do my other painting around the trusses here, that'll seal them up and give them a nice little look. So yeah, next thing we'll do is we'll do the final coat. What I did decide is that I like the gray, but I think I'm gonna do an ivory white or something on the roof. Lighten it up in here just a tad bit, leave the walls this gray color that I have, and just do another coat, touching up all the way, caulking of course. After that, it's gonna be the air conditioning split unit, and then we'll jump on the flooring, and then after that, the studio gets put together. So yeah, keep watching. Another day, another dollar. Sounds corny, but yeah, that's how it's rolling. Got my boy out here, Richard. We're getting the last of the shed put together. Got the flooring going in. What's up, Richard?
Hey, what's up?
This is Richard Cinceneros, AK, my co-host. So you're gonna be seeing him a lot more. Yeah, so we haven't showed you guys nothing. Making some quick cuts here, but let me give you a quick glimpse where we're at here. And let me just turn that off because I don't want to copyright us, but yeah, so as you can see, one of the final things that we're doing to the inside of this place is being done right now. Last thing we did was that air conditioning, and you guys have seen all the rest of the sheetrock, tape texture, paints, light fixtures, outlets, internet. But yeah, so this is where we're at today, trying to get the rest of this flooring done. So the trim on the side of it, And then we can start turning the studio into an actual studio. Back here, you can see we got everything lined up nicely for the air conditioning unit. Got a mini split unit, as you can see right there. Everything's looking good. Yep. Put a little flower garden in here too, in the back of our little bush. So yeah, everything's coming together, guys. I'll give you guys a final look after the flooring's in. That way you guys can see the overall gist of everything we did here. And then from there, in the near future, that's when you're going to start seeing these podcasts.
Check it out. Look at that floor. Bamboo. And the molding on the edge looks nice.
Even now, you're coming up to me, fire lighting up the sky. Feel the ground shaking underneath, trying to take me alive. Get ready for the fallout. Can't stop me now. I got no rival. I'ma find my way through the blood and pain game of survival. Any time or place, watch 'em run away. I got none. I'll be standing on my own, never gonna take my throne. I got no rival. Watch 'em run away. I got no, I got no rival. Tell me now, what you gon' do? We can do this face to face. The reckoning is coming real soon. Doesn't matter what you say. Try to tell you this is my moment. Can't take mine 'cause I own it. Don't you know that I'm locked and unloaded? You're out of focus.
All right, Review TV fans, I appreciate you guys watching this second podcast build video. If you didn't get a chance to check out the first one, like I said, jump down in the description box. I'll leave a link there so you guys can check out the first one. We are at a complete finish of this whole build. So I hope some of the tips in this video were helpful to you guys. So if you're in the market for building some type of a studio, whether it's a podcast, a recording, or whatever the studio may be, some of the things we did in this video will help give you guys some good ideas as well. Check out the channel. Continue to check out the channel. If you're not already subscribed, subscribe. We got some cool videos coming up in the near future along with the podcast. So if you guys haven't heard anything about the podcast, yes, Bigger Perspective coming very soon. It'll have its own channel along with some videos put on a playlist on Review It TV, so you guys can see them there as well. So with that being said, thanks for watching the video. We'll see you guys next time.